Story: The Old Doorman and the Mysterious Wallet. In a luxurious building in the heart of New York City, there was an old doorman whom everyone recognized. His name was James. Every day, he stood there in his worn-out uniform, holding the door open for people, nodding politely, and occasionally offering a kind smile. Everyone assumed he was just an ordinary worker. An old man who had spent his entire life opening doors for others, someone no one really paid attention to. But then, one small event changed everything. One morning, as a businessman hurried into the building, he accidentally dropped his wallet. It was an old leather wallet, but clearly belonged to someone wealthy. James picked it up and called out, "Hey, young man, you dropped your wallet!" The man turned around, thanked James, and took the wallet. But as he opened it to check, he suddenly froze. Inside there was an old piece of paper with a very familiar name on it. James Sterling. The young man stared at the old doorman. That wasn't just any name. It was the name of a financial legend, a brilliant investor who had turned millions into billions, only to mysteriously disappear from the business world over 20 years ago. "Wait, are you James Sterling?" The old man simply smiled. "You know my name? Not just know. You were a legend. But why are you here? Why are you working as a doorman?" James Sterling chuckled. "Because I made enough money to do whatever I want, and I chose to do this." The young man couldn't believe what he was hearing. A person who could live in a mansion, sail on yachts, and buy anything he wanted chose to be a doorman? James looked straight into the young man's eyes and said, "Do you know the funny thing about money? When you have too much of it, it stops meaning anything. But helping others? Doing something kind every day? That's what truly matters." And then he simply went back to work, opening doors, greeting guests as if this conversation had never happened. But the young man would never forget. That day, he learned a lesson no business school could ever teach. Happiness isn't about how much money you make. It's about how you choose to live your life. So what about you?